Hello listeners, Mark here with another SLP show, and finally I've succumbed to dropping one in about my beloved Wigan Warriors, as the news broke, or shall I say got confirmed, that Adrian Lamb and Shaun Edwards were returning to Wigan. I was talking to Shaun and David on an episode of Wigan Fan TV. We didn't have all the details of the episode as the episode went out, but as we were waiting for it to drip through, we now know that Adrian Lamb is in for 2019 and then Shaun Edwards will take over from 2020 on a 3-year deal. We talk a bit on the show about George Williams, but really we can't be sure as I record this that Wigan's marquee man will be in the side that either of the legendary Wigan halfbacks will take charge of. I'm sure there's more to come on that story down the line. But for now, for Wigan fans, it's time to forget Bateman's going and think about the excitement of the coaches coming in. So I'm going to go into now an edited down version of the recording I did with Shaun and David for Wigan Fan TV. Then I'll cover a couple of bits of feedback we've had from non-Wigan fans.
We are basically 5 minutes away, we presume, from the announcement of the new Wigan head coaches, or whatever that might be. Mark's joined us from Super League Pod. Mark, before we're refreshing every second. It's like trying to buy Glastonbury tickets. We're sort of refreshing, expecting everything to crash. What are you expecting at 8 o'clock?
Well, I'm expecting Adrian Lamb to be the head coach and Shaun Edwards to be coming in some sort of coach and oversight capacity is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting it all, basically.
Well, who knows? We might not be too far off. I've got all the sort of prompts ready. We've got Lamb and Edwards return to Wigan. We've got Lamb 2019 head coach. But what we were saying on the last show we just said off air, and it's probably Big 1-6 or something like that. So we're just waiting for Wigan to do the announcement. I assume it'll probably be
the t-shirt cannon, then I'm all right with Big 1-6. I feel like a free t-shirt. How do you think about the way they've been bringing it through so far? These little teasers and stuff. I think if it was one of the more fondly liked clubs around the place, one of the more fashionable clubs, people would be banging on about how cool, like the little teaser with the commentary teasers and that. It's been good.
I think it's been fantastic. I think the thing that they've done really well is they've buried the Bateman news. David, what are you expecting at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, similar really. I think I don't think we'll get a curveball like we got this morning with the Bateman announcement, with the fact that he was agreed or signed, whichever way you want to word it, coming back. But yeah, pretty much the same as Mark. I think it's nailed on that Lamb will be coming over, Edwards coming in, and hopefully might have another halfback coming in, a young halfback coming joining us as well, with a former St Pat's player Lachlan coming over. That'd be nice as well as a little addition.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, let's speculate that it is Lamb or it is Edwards or it is the two of them. How important do you think? I remember you wrote that open letter to George Williams. Do you think this potentially takes George Williams onto the next step of his career, having either one or two great halfbacks mentoring him?
I'm terrified about the idea that there's this rumour that George Williams is going, because this is exactly the sort of thing he needs. I think back to watching Lamb play for us, and let's hope that we're not all going to look stupid in 3 minutes' time, but I think back to watching Lamb play for us, and he was that halfback at that sort of stage of his career as well when he came over, that he just seemed to understand where the space was, where the opposition were going to go and where he needed to go. And so I know, like Edwards, as great as he was and all of those sort of things, and he was able to run the show completely. It's a long time since he played, but Adrian Lamb has been recently involved in coaching setups for Australia and State of Origin and things like that. So he brings a lot of relevant tools to the table, and I think George Williams can definitely learn off a guy like that. And then, obviously, Edwards can't not teach them all something, can he, really? He's got so much experience.
So the teasers so far, David, if I'm right in saying, we've had the drop goal, which was clearly Adrian Lamb in the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one?
It was
it was the Shaun Edwards Martin Afai nodding celebrations, wasn't it?
Nod celebration. Okay. There we go. We're going to announce head coaches for 2019 and beyond: Adrian Lamb and Shaun Edwards. There we go, people. Breaking news. I'm just watching the video as we speak, so it looks like certainly Lamb is the head coach for 2019. And they're playing the video of the drop goals. That's the first thing. If you go on, it's been on Facebook for a couple of minutes. Yeah, they thought, they're watching Twitter, let's put it on Facebook.
Let's put it on Facebook, yeah.
So they just put it on Twitter now. So there we go. We've got Lamb definitely for 2019, and we've got Shaun Edwards in 2020. So Lamb and Edwards return to Wigan. That's official now. So I guess let's get the reaction. Mark, first of all, they're both coming home. It's obviously what we expected, but it's true. exciting, I guess.
I'm really excited. I think that the fans have been demanded, haven't they, sort of someone coming in who they're going to feel is going to give some attacking verve to the side, and that's been demanded for 2 or 3 years now. And you've got to say with these two, probably the best two halfbacks in the last 30 years of Wigan, aren't they? So that you should expect some attacking ideas that they can pass on. And we know we've got talented kids. We just maybe they haven't had the right attacking direction over the last few years. So hopefully it's going to be what we all want, that magical dream of a faultless attack with vision and awareness and all of those skills.
I mean, I'm watching the video that they put on Twitter and they put on Facebook without any sound. I've got shivers going down my back just watching it without any sound, of seeing Shaun Edwards doing his nod celebration, seeing Adrian Lamb, and the fact that we've got, like you say, Mark, to have those two players who are coming in, and it's like it's the best of both. It's strange the way that it's going to happen. So we're going to have Lamb for 1 year, presumably, and Edwards for the second year. It's an unprecedented announcement. It's the kind of thing that we can do. They break new ground with these kinds of deals. But David, your initial reaction, I know we've spoken about it, but do you think, like Mark does, it's massive for the likes of George Williams and Josh Woods and Sam Howell and those kinds of players?
I think so, yeah. I think it's quite a bit of a shift in direction. I think we're going to have been looking for that shift for a few years now, obviously with the way Saints have played this season, the way Castleford played last season with that attacking flair. Wigan, obviously the structures that Maguire put in place and Wayne carried on have stood well, but it looks as though the game's moved on a little bit and changed a little bit, and maybe those tactics aren't the same anymore. Obviously they've got to address the crowd situation as well, because fans are drifting away, not just from Wigan but from the sport in general. So yeah, I think it's exciting times. It'll be good to see what the youngsters can do, and with the players that we've lost as well as the backroom staff, it's a bit of a clean sweep, isn't it? A fresh brush, and might be just what we need.
Mark, do you think this announcement, and everybody that's watching, tell us what your initial reactions are, and we'll get that on screen as well. Do you think this announcement is a risk, considering we're appointing Adrian Lamb, who's never been the head coach of a club, and we're appointing a player who's been away from rugby league for 20 years as our new head coach, but the three of us are here sort of praising them as two saviors, and neither of them have experience.
When was Steve Price the head coach? Well, actually, he was, weren't he, St George? When was Justin Holbrook the head coach of a club? When was Michael Maguire the head coach of a club? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
People coming in from down under. What we do know is that he understands the club, the fans, the culture, the demands, because we are a demanding bunch of people, as we've all found out over the last couple of years. We can sit near the top of the league, we can win the World Club Challenge, we can win the grand final, but it's not good enough. So we're a demanding bunch, but these lads know just how demanding we all are.
Well,
everyone else is happy.
I mean, Shaun Edwards and Adrian Lamb, like you say, know better than anybody just the expectations of being a Wigan player and what the club expects. David, how big of a boost do you think this is to the fan base, and do you think it re-engages the club with fans now? The fact that it's almost like the club. If 6 weeks ago or whenever it was when Wayne announced his departure, Lamb and Edwards, either one of them would have been fantastic. We've got two of them. Is this a big boost, you think, for us as fans?
I think so. I think it'll be a bit of a lift. It'll be interesting to see what the atmosphere is like on Friday against Cass as well. So how can you not like it? Edwards, most decorated player in the game's history. Lamb, if you look at some of the other players that played alongside him, a lot of them have said he's one of the best players they've played against. Obviously, he's done it for Queensland, so he's done it at the top level. So yeah, it'd be fantastic for the club to get that on board, and new players that would be superb.
Obviously, one of the issues, I guess, that's still to be resolved, Mark, and it'll be interesting to see how this goes, is Lachlan Lamb. The rumour is that he's basically been offered a deal for 2019. It looks like it would probably be an initial 1 year deal. He's still potentially making his mind up. Would you like to see him come over, knowing that it might only be for 12 months with his dad?
I'd prefer if we had a bit more of a longer term solution in place, ideally at halfback. I don't want to be developing a kid for someone else. I mean, ultimately we would be doing that in the long run, but I'd want to get more out of him if we were doing that, to be honest. But it's hard to tell, and it's hard to know what's going to happen. I've only really seen him play for PNG in the World Cup last year, to be completely honest. So I can't say I can see how rounded a game he's got yet and those sorts of things, but he's got good genes and he looks quite talented. So if he comes in and makes a splash, I don't really care who comes in as long as we win trophies. That's my mantra.
So we've got.
What do you think? We haven't had your views on it. What do you think?
I know my videos are a bit frozen at the moment, so hopefully you can still hear me. But eventually this will, I've been holding this up for however long. Shaun Edwards is my absolute hero, and as Mark knows, the people from the fan engagement board were invited to the press conference that's tomorrow, and I can't go. So it's 11 o'clock. There's a press conference at Wigan where they're going to be unveiling, I assume, Shaun Edwards and perhaps Adrian Lamb by video call. And the fact that I don't get to meet Shaun Edwards tomorrow is sort of breaking my heart a little bit because he's my absolute hero. But I just the thing that and I'm going to try and find it later is there's a video from one of the British Lions tours, which they do the behind the scenes videos, and Shaun Edwards went on one 12 years ago, and obviously Andy Farrell's been on the last two. And when you see Shaun Edwards or Andy Farrell talking before a game in the dressing room, it's incredible, and the fact that he's going to be doing that in 2020 in the Wigan dressing room is really, really exciting. But the thing that I think I'm most excited about is the fact that we've got two backs that are coming in as coaches. We can't have this excuse now of as good a job as Sean Wayne has done. There's always been, I think, this criticism about his play and the way that he gets his teams to play. Shaun Edwards has been a defence coach in rugby union, so we might be getting a little bit too carried away with the attacking flair that Shaun Edwards might bring in. But I'm interested to see what he brings to Wigan from rugby union. But I guess we're all.
What he can do for individuals, I think that's what I'm excited about with Edwards, even more so than Lamb. It's what he can do for individuals because, like you say, he's worked in like these coaching roles within the Wales setup and stuff in rugby union. But I'm guessing when you're a defence coach, you do come up with a plan, but you're also going to be working one-on-one with your players a bit more than the head coach might. And I think that's a skill he can bring in. He can work with people one-on-one and that sort of stuff. So,
so Daniel touches on it here. And interested to get your thoughts on this, David. Is we've seen the picture of Shaun Edwards sat up in the East Stand with his pencil and paper making notes. Do you think there is going to be this crossover? Do you think we'll see Edwards at training in 2019, observing, learning from Lamb, learning from the coaches? I guess we'll learn more tomorrow, won't we, in the press conference? Or do you think it's basically 2019 is Lamb, 2020 is Edwards?
Has Edwards got his coaching badges? Are we going down the same?
Interesting story. Wayne Bennett paid for the RFL paid for them.
Oh right,
the RFL. Yeah. There's a good story somewhere about the RFL paying for them, and he owes the RFL quite a lot, not monetary value, but he's in debt to the RFL. He's got a debt to the RFL, and he's really thankful. And I think he went over to Sydney, to Brisbane, and learned quite a bit off Wayne Bennett. I might have just made that completely up. I think that's
a great story. Yeah, it's great.
It's a great story.
I'd be interested. It's one of those, isn't it? Is Lamb going to be here for just 2019 and then go back to Australia, or is there a role for him long term? I'd like to think there's a role for him long term. What happens if he comes in next season and clears the board and going back to Mark's point, wins the treble, does everything? It's a bit of an odd one. Then it's like one of those. If he wins the grand final, cheers. There you go, Sean.
And then when Holbrook goes back to Australia, and he moves to Saints, and then we're all pissed off about it.
Yeah, but doesn't he deserve a crack at the World Club Challenge if he wins the grand final? It's a dilemma, isn't it?
It's not similar to Maguire and Wayne, but I think when Maguire was appointed and Wayne was appointed, I think people could see that there was a genuine progression potentially for Wayne, but this one is guaranteed, so it is a little bit different. There you go. There's a completely different take on it from me, and it's an appointment to please fans who live in the past, and we all do. So, that is, I guess, part and parcel. Everyone's entitled to opinion, and it'll be interesting to see. They might both fail, and what happens if? So here we go. What happens if Lamb is sacked halfway through 2019 because we're in the middle eights?
Well, whoever the assistant is, he'll just have to roll us through the end of the season, or we'll make O'Loughlin head coach for 3 months or something. I don't know. I don't think it'll come to that. I don't think it'll come to that, Sean. Let's not say things like that. Why are you scared of me?
I assume that they've.
I think the thing.
Why would you think that through? I guess